Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to cover a few things, but mainly a race debrief of our recent club race in Smith Falls, where I raced my X-Ray X4, my GT12, and my Tamiya TT02. But just quickly, an update to my Atomic MRX. I've been doing some tuning since the first outing in Smith Falls at the Mini Z Blitz, where I struggled a little bit with the handling of the car. I've since done a little bit of tuning in the suspension and throughout the chassis on the advice of some of the folks from the Facebook group. And I've also upgraded to the 14 millimeter wide rear tires with the Marca Tenshore radials. I've done a quick test drive on my L-shaped track in the basement, and so far it's been night and day. So I'll be really looking forward to seeing how this performs at the local Mini Z race that we're having this Friday. It's not an RCP track, it's on the fitness mats, but I think this car is going to perform extremely well. I've also put the gear diff back in. I was running the Kyosho ball diff in there for a while just to see if that would make any difference with the handling. Not really much difference, but it was a lot louder, and it just seemed like the car was straining under power with all the noise it was making. And I don't think it was a gear mesh issue. I'm not really sure what it was, but I've put the gear diff back in with a thinner diff oil, and everything is running super smooth, and it runs really nice on the track. So I'm looking forward to see how this performs with the new chassis setup and the 14 millimeter wide tires. All right, switching gears to my 2022 X-Ray X4, which is built in USGT trim. So this weekend at Smith Falls ran quite well. There were a lot of USGT entries to include some very fast drivers, so it was very challenging, but the car was driving really nice, and I was having a lot of fun with it. A few little things though that started to pop up. After the first qualifier, just going over the car, I was noticing a bit more kind of twitchy and unpredictable handling. And once I put it back on the pit board, I noticed that all of the bulkhead screws, both on the front and back, the upper bulkheads on top of the diffs, were all loose, and was creating quite a bit of play in all of the suspension. So I tightened everything up, and then in the subsequent quals and the main, it was a pleasure to drive, and it was a lot of fun. We kind of truncated the mains into two large groups rather than like an A, B, and C main, so there was only an A and a B main, which meant that there was a very large group in the A main, which I made it into. I probably would have been second or third starting in the B main, but instead I was starting at the bottom end of the A main, which meant, quite frankly, I was really just concentrating on staying out of the way of the faster drivers. So I didn't really get to do as well as I would have liked in, say, the B main. I had to settle for kind of a lower position in the A main, but that's okay, because as they always say, you can never get faster unless you drive with people who are faster than you. So overall, a lot of fun with the X4 in the USGT class. Next is my 2024 X-Ray X12 set up for GT12. This is a really fun car to drive. I'm really enjoying this class. And I must say that the other drivers at the Smith Falls Club, it's a really chill and laid-back community. We talk to each other up on the driver's stand during the race, and both before and after. It's a really good crowd, and I'm really enjoying it. So again, this car was driving well up until the beginning of the second qual, when I just nicked the wall, and then the front steering just completely stopped working, and I had to pull out of the qualifying race. And come to find out that I actually lost some of the screws and shims in the front bulkhead, which control the ride height and the caster. So basically the whole front end kind of fell apart. And I'm not really sure when I lost those components, because we were not able to find the screws, the shims, or the caster adjusters on the track. So I think I might have actually lost them at the tail end of the race at CTSR in early December, and I just never really noticed because I haven't driven the car since. So I kind of had to rebuild the front end and replace the caster and ride height shims in between the quals, but got everything back up and running, and the car drove really, really nice, and I had a lot of fun. It was a group of 5, and I ended up 4th in the race, which is totally fine by me. I'm still learning this car. I've got a lot to learn about driving this thing, but I just really, really enjoy turning laps with the other cars. And like I said, the community is really, really supportive and super chill on the driver's stand, so that was a lot of fun there. So really happy with this car and looking forward to future races. And finally, my Tamiya TT02, the GT4 Mustang. I was struggling with this car a little bit at CTSR in December, and I was starting to get a bit disenfranchised with this platform in this class. I just couldn't get things right with this thing. I've been, tooling with suspension settings and just trying to keep everything, running smoothly in this car, and just to no avail. I couldn't get this thing to handle right. So I got a little bit of help from a buddy of mine who races with us, Andrew, and we kind of did a Control-Alt-Delete on this thing. We tore everything apart. Well, he did. Had a look at everything, rebuilt all of the diffs to make them run smoother. We refined some of the electronics connections. I put a new torque-tuned motor in that has been properly broken in as per, the commonly known procedures. And this car was running really, really nicely this weekend, handling much, much better. A lot of the handling issues and the rear end squirreliness that I was dealing with previously is all but gone. And I was able to drive this car really, really confidently. Again, pretty successful in the qualifiers, up until the point where during the warm-up lap, and I hadn't even completed a single warm-up during the third qualifying round, I actually broke one of the front steering knuckles just after glancing the front wall, or the wall there. So I had to take myself out of that final qual, rebuild that knuckle, and then come back for the race. The race was very busy. Again, large mains because we were trying to compress the time. But it was a lot of fun. I think I came 4th in that race. It was a lot of fun. And I'm just really happy that this car is back on the rails again. I was almost ready to ditch it in favor of a different car, but we've revitalized this thing and it's working quite well. So super happy with that. And that was a good time. So just coming back quickly to the Mini Z's. So there is a local club race coming up this Friday. So again, looking forward to kind of doing a 2.0 test on the Atomic MRX, and also, reattacking the drivability of this little guy here, my MR03. Again, I was struggling with it at Smith Falls, and I'm not sure if it was track related. I also noticed after driving that weekend that the front wheels were rubbing on the body, and that may have explained some of the dartiness I was experiencing in the straights. Maybe the wheel was touching the body and catching and pulling the steering over, and that's because I was running wider offset wheels on the front. So I've gone back to the stock offset, and we'll see if that improves, because last year I was running the stock offset all season and I was not having any problems. This race recently in Smith Falls was the first one where I tried the wider offset wheels, and that's where I started encountering the problem. So I think by returning the front wheels back to stock offset, that will alleviate some of those handling issues. I'm still going to experiment a little bit with the T-plate based on the grip levels that we'll have at the club. Right now I'm running a level 2 carbon fiber T-plate. I've got a level 5, which is the stiffest, but we'll see what the grip looks like, and we'll go from there. I'll keep the 2 on there for now, and then we'll see what happens. What I will finally say is today I just signed up for the Phoenix Raceway Grand Opening trophy race on February the 9th in Scarborough in Toronto. So I'll be running the X-Rays, the X4, and the X12 along with my Tamiya. So that's a big day in Toronto. I think it's going to be a very fast crowd. Toronto has quite a few fast racers there, so really looking forward to that. Like I said, just registered today, and then as we get closer, I'll keep you guys posted on my preps for that day. And then I also hope to actually have some in-race footage. I'd like to start including race footage in my videos. Keep posted to the channel, like and subscribe, and hopefully we'll get some good racing action included in the videos, and it's not just me ranting behind a camera. Anyways, thanks. That's it for now, and look forward to showing you guys the race on February the 9th. See you in the next video.